Hi, I'm Maria Allwine. I'm with the Pledge of Resistance Baltimore, and we're an anti-war group, civil resistance group. We've been protesting against the Iraq War since before it started in 2002. And I'm here because 5 years later, the war is still going on. Barbara Mikulski continues to vote for continued funding of the war. She makes a lot of noise about being against the war. I'm sure she's appalled at the death and destruction and the fact that we've destroyed an entire country that meant no harm to us, was no threat to us, but she continues to vote for funding. So that means that she continues to support the war. She's doing nothing to get us out of there. It doesn't mean anything when our representatives in Congress vote, say, to bring them home, or they vote for these resolutions. The bottom line is they vote to continue funding the war, which means the war will continue. So we are here to tell Barbara Mikulski at her home that she needs to stop voting to fund the war. She needs to get out in front on this, as we have been asking her to do in various meetings for years. So we are now at her home. She lives in comfort along with everybody else in this country, while Iraqi children have no water, no electricity, no health care, and they live in a country that has been destroyed by our country, for which I am deeply ashamed. Now, Barbara Mikulski is not very happy that we're here because this is her home, but you know what? When she stops voting to fund the war, we'll go away. And she can continue to live in comfort. But I tell you, I cannot stay in my house knowing that so many people in Iraq are being killed, not to mention our own military, which has been destroyed by this worthless endeavor. So I'm asking Barbara Mikulski personally, as I have on other occasions, to stop voting to fund the war and to bring our troops home right now.
Thanks so much, Maria.
Thanks, Bill.
Citizens of Baltimore, and we are picketing Barbara Mikulski's residence, and some people have criticized us for making it so personal, as it were, but we feel that, you know, she is a public figure, and by taking a stand funding the war, that, you know, she has basically opened herself up to this. That is to say that we feel, you know, she's a public figure, so her home is a valid place to do a public protest, and I'm here because I, like other people, I'm opposed to the war. It's a waste of human life. It's a waste of billions of our tax dollars, and there are many things we could be doing, like fixing the infrastructure, as we saw in Minneapolis, and it's a waste of a generation of young people. My last job, I was going to BWI day after day, night after night. I was seeing these young soldiers, the age to be my children, if I had any, young people in their early 20s going to Iraq, and some of them, I'm sure, never came back. And they were shipping out of BWI every night. I couldn't forget about it. I can't forget about it now, and so I feel strongly it's important to be here, and thanks for listening.
Thank you, Mark.
The reason we're here right now is that this is the home of Senator Barbara Mikulski, a senator who I have voted for regularly over and over again, who basically is spending a lot of her spare time supporting the killing that's going on in Iraq and in Afghanistan. That's why I'm here. And I think the question really is to ask everybody that you know and I know is, why are you not? No, why aren't all these people driving by in these fancy cars pouring out that oil? Why aren't they out here and get off their cars? And an easy way to look at that practically is there's a bicycle right behind you. I don't own a car. And these people smile at us and they walk by with that stiff look, and it happens all the time. I teach at Hopkins, and I see that stiff look and that walk around a social issue of this magnitude regularly. It's part of our lives. So, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Dean Pappas.
Yeah, Maria Allwine.
I've actually known Barbara Mikulski for over 40 years. We worked together. I was really proud of what she did in standing up to American imperialism, U.S. imperialism in Central America. I don't know what happened. Maybe she got kidnapped by aliens. But she has no business being this meek. She needs to stand up. There are people dying. It's up to 3,700 almost Americans. We can do something about that. The international community can work on Iraq. That's another issue, but the United States is only harming Iraq. And we know the sooner we bring them home, the sooner we can end the American fatalities. And that's what's motivating the American people right now. They're sick of this every day, drip, drip. 5 killed in Fallujah, 6 killed in Anbar. This is ridiculous. And then Iraqis, 80 killed. So Barbara, you got to stand up about this. That's why we're here, and we're going to escalate. We might go into our lobby at some point when the students are back in September. We want her to come down and talk to us, because that's what democracy is about.
Now, Dean, you mentioned South America, and you're so right. I remember her. I wrote an article about one of the nuns that was working on the conditions down in, I think, El Salvador.
Salvador, yes.
And she put that article in the congressional record for me, Barbara Mikulski.
That's
and
right.
Now look at her today.
That's right. And the very same people that were orchestrating those war crimes in Central America, like Negroponte, like Elliot Abrams, the old Reagan crowd, they're in power now, and they're running the Middle East. So, including Gates, who was involved in Iran-Contra up to his elbows. So Barbara's got to be a loud voice about this. As Jay was saying, she's a member of the Senate, the most powerful legislative body on the planet. U.S. Congress can stand up to the president. The people would be behind them. She has no right. She's selling us out by being so timid, if indeed it's timidity.
The reason that we're here is that Senator Mikulski is one of the most powerful people in the world, along with the other U.S. senators. And they act somehow as if they're helpless to stop this war. There's no reason for a senator in the United States to act helpless. Senators can, for example, block spending bills. There's no reason the Democrats couldn't filibuster any spending bills going through Congress and just make sure the U.S. government doesn't operate unless the war ends. There's no reason that the senator can't call a hearing of the Intelligence Committee to expose the lies and secrets about secret prisons and torture. She refuses to even discuss that issue with us. So when a senator in the United States acts helpless, we have to do everything we can to remind that person that they're not helpless, they're as powerful as the rest of us, and they can make something happen and end this war. That's why we're here in front of Senator Mikulski's condo.
And you've been here, Jay, now, I mean, how long is it? 5, 6 weeks?
Yeah, I think it's been 7 or 8 actually.
Weeks, yeah. 7 or 8 weeks.
And we'll be coming every Friday, 4:30. When September comes around, we've got some additional action planned here at the condo to up the ante a little bit, since we figure people will be coming back from summer vacations, and we'll have more of a push.
So the process is kind of set up that the war party is doing what they want to do. They're continuing the war, they're continuing the funding. So it seems it's important for the individuals like yourself to get out here and say, I object.
Right. Well, the fundamental principle of democracy is that the people control the government, not the other way around. In this case, it's clear that the government feels unaccountable to the people. They're acting in ways the majority of the people think are not only wrong but criminal. And so we have a responsibility to take back our power and to stop this war.
Thanks, Jay.
Sure.